happy 6-month anniversary to El Show. And it's perfect. It's very apropos. Because this really is the best time of year to be a pro wrestling fan. And do you know why?
So much fucking wrestling.
Yes, but it's the Royal Rumble specifically. WrestleMania is the show of shows and it is like the pinnacle and it is the best. But the Royal Rumble just hits different. There's that excitement every year. It's just something about the Royal Rumble. It's my favorite thing. Like, I go back and watch old Rumbles far more often than I go back and watch old WrestleMania matches.
Basically, you can say probably because the end of the Rumble is basically the start of the road to WrestleMania.
And that's exactly it. Yeah, like there's so much at stake. There's so many feuds that will kind of get teased throughout the course of the match. Obviously, we always get our fun surprise appearances and shit. Like, the Royal Rumble is just such a great such a great exhibition of pro wrestling, such a great celebration of pro wrestling. It's always so much fucking fun. And in honor of the most fun event of the year, we've got some predictions here lined up. We're going to go through person by person and kind of break them down, but the categories are the surprise of the night that we're expecting, who is going to get the most eliminations, who will be in the final four, and who will be the winner. I don't think I'm forgetting anything. I'm pretty sure that's it.
That's it, yeah.
So we'll go ahead and we'll start with the men's rumble. And I guess we'll just go through mine first here. I'll go ahead and do the big reveal here.
I can't see, so you have to read them.
Got it. Okay, that's good. That's good.
I'm blind as fuck. Once again, chat.
So we'll start off with my surprise, and this one does have a bit of a caveat because we don't 100% know the medical status. But if there was ever a year that it made sense for Big E to make his big return,
Interesting.
this would be the year.
Big E.
So I know you're saying, I tried to think outside of the box a bit. At first, I was thinking about just some of the TNA guys or NXT guys, but those almost don't feel like they're going to be as much of a surprise because it just kind of feels like that's going to happen. So I tried to think a bit more outside of the box. And again, it all obviously all hangs on the health of Big E. I would never want anybody to step into a wrestling ring if they aren't 100% sure and confident that they are going to be able to walk out of there just about close to as healthy as they can. And I'm normally not the type of person to predict these types of super big returns after super long, that type of stuff. Like in previous years, I would have never thrown out Big E. But this year, because of everything that's happened with the New Day and the fact that it all came from Big E and their shitty treatment of the poor guy, it just feels like this would be the year.
Interesting.
Where you have maximum hype, maximum, oh my god, it's Big E. Now, again, we'll see. All hinges on the health stuff. So, if it doesn't happen, I won't be disappointed at all because, of course, like I said, you don't want anyone to put themselves into any danger or anything. But it is one of those things that I think, again, this is the time to do it if there was ever a time to do it. Most eliminations is an interesting one. I went back and forth a couple different times, but ultimately it just has to be Fatu.
You think that was gonna come in and clean house?
Has to be. It had yes, there are other valid candidates, and I tossed a couple names around, but ultimately, if we look at where we're at right now, he is on an upwards trajectory with just a nuclear fucking rocket strapped to his back. He is human. Yeah. I'm pretty sure they announced that on the last episode of Raw. If not, I'm pretty sure we could assume. he's
How
gonna
much
be there.
more?
I'm pretty sure they announced it though on SmackDown. Sorry, on SmackDown. But regardless, I do think that when we get to see the Samoan werewolf, he is gonna fucking wreck shop. I do. I don't have him in my final four. I'll spoil that right now because I think he's just gonna go so crazy that he's just gonna like make some type of mistake or like some people will gang up
Get
on him or
distracted or
something.
some
Yeah,
shit,
like
yeah.
it'll be some dumb shit, but he will have a short but impactful run where he just cuz bro, it's the way that they've booked this dude so far against the top level main event players where he's like no selling some of the most like significant finishers in WWE right now, and then he goes in there and there's like some of the mid card guys or some, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, he's gonna just throw those motherfuckers
dude,
over, bro.
like, yeah,
He's just that type of character.
that's how it should be. Yeah, with the way that they've built him up to be, it should just be him walking up to people and like, you don't deserve to be here, by. You don't deserve to be here, by, and just clear the fucking ring out. Exactly. I think that there's a really big continuation of the star making era that we're in right now with Jacob, that like he doesn't even have to win it, but if they just book him the right way throughout the match, it could add to the lore that we're developing
Jacob
around
fought to the clean house.
two.
Most eliminations.
I think so. I think it's a pretty strong bet.
Mm.
But let's get into the good stuff here. These are the big ones. The final four of the Royal Rumble is genuinely one of the just it's one of the best moments in wrestling every year. Because as the Royal Rumble is already one of the best matches, and when you get down to that final four and we
Everybody
take
has
that
to
moment,
stare down and shit like that.
oh, it's the fucking best. It's the fucking best. And with this year specifically, boy, I went back and forth a lot. When I was trying to come up with this, it was fucking hard, man. It was fucking hard. I yeah, it was tough, man, because the people that yeah, man. Oof. All right. I got John Cena.
Okay.
Pretty obvious. CM Punk.
Okay.
Pretty obvious. I have Seth freaking Rollins. And I have Drew McIntyre.
Oh.
I know.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
Oh.
I know.
Oh.
I know.
Oh.
I know.
Damn. Why?
Drew convinced me.
Hmm.
Like, it is such a perfect setup for the rest of his storyline going into WrestleMania. If Drew eliminates Roman, doesn't win the Rumble, and then we end up with Drew versus Roman at WrestleMania, and it doesn't even need a title. Because it's Drew versus Roman. There's so much history, there's so much attached to that. I feel like you could justify that being a non-title WrestleMania match.
Wow.
I can see it. I can feel it.
Drew McIntyre.
I want. This is more of a want than anything, but I want Drew to eliminate Roman. I feel like it's the perfect step up that his character needs because he's already done so much for himself over the last 12 months. I feel like this would be a way for him to step up even higher in the rankings and yet guarantee himself a WrestleMania level feud that the promos that we would get from Drew and Roman with where they're at now and all the history. I know it's a big shout. But that's where I'm at with it right now.
Wow.
I know it's a little wild. Like I accept that it's a little wild. Not having Roman in there was like, am I really gonna do this? And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do it. Fuck it. I'm gonna do it. Fuck it. I see it. I fuck with the vision. I think Drew should do it. And the reason I think it happens earlier than the final four is because then when you get down to Cena, Punk, Seth, and Drew, particularly with Punk, Seth, and Drew, it's kind of like a three-way hate triangle.
Mm-hmm.
And then you just got Cena in there as well, which just adds a pretty interesting dynamic to the whole thing. Obviously, there's a lot there as well. And so I think that final four does still present a lot of interesting options of like who goes after who, what happens next. But I think the way that it all shakes out, and your winner of the 2025 Men's Royal Rumble, CM Punk. I gave it some more thought, and as much as earlier on when we were discussing the Rumble, I was wondering if the Paul Heyman favor meant that Punk didn't have to win the Rumble to still end up in Mania. But he's so over as a babyface right now, and I feel like using a favor to get a Mania match is kind of heelish, like kind of taking the easy way out kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be surprised if the favor is either
He swaps his number with someone.
something along those lines where like he gets to come out later, or if he has Heyman tell Roman to like you don't eliminate Punk. I don't something along those lines where it's even that's a little bit kind of you could argue cowardly heel shit, but
Mm-hmm.
basically I think they find a way to baby face out the favor thing and make it unfortunately not as big of a deal as it might have seemed initially in the first place, but we still get to the CM Punk winning the Rumble moment and CM Punk main eventing either night 1 or night 2 of WrestleMania for the title, but we get just it's I now have kind of shifted my opinion to thinking that that's the best way to establish Punk's path to Mania because of how fucking ridiculously over he is as a babyface. I say let's just ride the wave of all the people loving CM Punk and let's put him in the driver's seat of the road to WrestleMania. And you could do it either way. You could do Punk Gunther or Punk Cody,
Mm-hmm.
and I think you're printing money because they're all so good. And that's stuff we could get into later. But yeah, I got CM Punk as the winner of the 2025 Rumble.
I thought you told me we're gonna talk about who we want him to challenge though.
I did mention that, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Well then, fuck it. I'll give you mine then. Yeah, I forgot I had texted you about that earlier. Um. Well, now I'm on the spot. I'ma say. I'ma say Gunther. Because I think Cody's got a lot more potential, bigger shit. You could still find a way to get Cena in there with Chamber, some shit, which would be huge. You could find a way to get Roman in there with Chamber, other shit. Like, there's still, I think, other bigger matches for Cody.
Shit, yeah.
And I would also be scared to risk turning the crowd against Cody. Because Punk's in that zone right now with the crowd where it's like everyone who's buying a ticket to go to a wrestling show is losing their fucking shit when CM Punk's music plays and chanting his name and other wrestlers, even other baby faces like Seth Rollins and shit. Like, I just don't think at this point with the white hot baby face that CM Punk is, you want to put that up against Cody Rhodes. I think you just keep that separate for now. It doesn't mean we can't get to it eventually. Maybe once Punk has cooled down a bit, or if you're a little more willing to explore Cody as a heel. But for now, I think it's probably safest to keep them separate. Like I said, I still think Punk versus Gunther is genuinely so good and still a main event caliber match. So I'm going to go ahead and say Punk versus Gunther. Night 1 main event, WrestleMania.
Hmm. Hmm.
Because they're going to reserve Cody for night 2, I'm sure. But
Yeah, of course.
that is my prediction.
And that's gonna be his WrestleMania moment, you think?
Yes.
Oh,
We will be closing out night 1 of WrestleMania
let's see him push
singing Cult of Personality.
with the fans.
He'll bonus prediction after he wins the title, call back to Money in the Bank 2011, he'll jump in the crowd and blow the kiss to the camera and like just walk off into the crowd and celebrate.
Watch that foot dip again.
Nah, it'll just be a callback, but just to like look at me now, look how far we've come. I think that'd be cool. But bonus prediction. But yeah, man, that is my men's Royal Rumble predictions. Let's go ahead and I'm revealing Luis's predictions here.
That's funny as fuck, bro.
Oh shit. Oh shit. Okay. So for your surprise, we have TNA champion Joe Hendry making his Royal Rumble debut.
Like you said, it's gonna happen, bro.
That's why it's got
It's
to.
gonna happen. Bro.
Yeah, yeah. Now I feel like, especially with the news recently of TNA and WWE doing their little deal and everything.
And that fool with this hype, they're of course they're gonna want that little pop from the crowd when that fool comes in as champion.
100%, 100%. Do you think there's any chance he makes it somewhat late, or is it just like
he'll probably like be there probably for like 8 minutes, probably max.
I feel like that would be somewhat respectable. Because this is why it gets tricky. This is something that I think is going to be interesting. He is the world champion of
TNA.
That's a big deal. So when you bring him in, you don't want to book him like a mid carder.
He's supposed to get targeted, bro.
But so it'll be interesting to see how that all plays out. Yeah, it'll be interesting. But yeah, I do agree. I do think Joe Hendry will be making an appearance, and I will be very excited for that. Most eliminations, Drew McIntyre.
I think that fool's gonna come in probably like in 14th or 15th, and that fool's just gonna come in clean house.
Clean up. Like, just because of the rage of everything with that. Alright, okay.
He's gonna have a drive to fucking get far and shit like that.
The only reason I'm not sure is because I feel like he might be someone that just comes out later, because I feel like he's gonna be involved in the, as I said, in the later shit. Yeah, but I guess that's our differences on how I see where you're coming from. I could see Drew in that role. I just saw Drew maybe doing something a little different, like being in the Final Four. But I see where you're coming from, though. And speaking of the Final Four, we have Roman Reigns.
That's the difference we have.
Seth freaking Rollins, CM Punk, and John Cena. And I honestly,
it can go
almost wrote that down.
Either
so this was my thing, actually. When I first sat down to do these predictions, for the Final Four in the Men's Rumble specifically, I had 3 names locked in, written in stone, and they were John Cena, CM Punk, and Roman Reigns.
There's no way they're not.
But then I unchiseled Roman Reigns' name out of the stone that I had set it in. I was like, well, actually, I changed my mind. I like this Drew McIntyre thing. I think that's more fun. But I dead ass thought that, like, there was no way when I first sat down to do these predictions earlier today, there was no way in my mind I wasn't gonna write Roman, Cena, and Punk in the Final Four. It was just a matter of who was fourth. And so I 100% see where you're coming from. Like, honestly, I think that's more likely in a lot of ways than what I predicted. I just think mine's more just different. I would like to see it, but I think that what you're saying here is, like, probably one of the most likely scenarios, if we're being totally honest here. And we agree on the winner, which is interesting. We both have CM Punk. I wasn't expecting. So was that a challenge? Were you going back and forth with that one?
Not really, honestly.
Really?
Yeah.
You didn't think Roman or Cena? Because I know you don't really think Seth. We've talked about that off camera, that you don't really feel like Seth had a chance.
I think Roman's gonna win it somehow. Get his chance another way, bro. He's gonna have to, like, fucking get his fucking shit back. For sure. He's gonna get it back, but he's gonna have to fucking work for it. Because there's no way Cody's gonna drop it yet.
So you don't think we get Roman Cody at Mania?
No.
Because Cody is gonna win at WrestleMania?
He has to win at WrestleMania, bro.
Because if I finish the rest of your prediction here, you have CM Punk challenging Cody Rhodes. That's what it says right there on my screen. It says Punk and he challenges Cody.
I was just thinking about it at that time. It's like, fuck. That fool just says, I can go the fucking easy route or just be fucking CM Punk and say, fuck the system. You guys want probably fucking Roman Reigns, and I'm gonna go fucking challenge Cody Rhodes and shit.
So now
you saw the promo this past Monday Night Raw and shit, bro.
Yeah.
He talked his fucking shit to him, bro.
Yeah. But you're telling me CM Punk is gonna win the Royal Rumble
and
challenge Cody Rhodes and lose? And Cody's gonna beat CM Punk in the main event, night 2, WrestleMania? You're playing with fire, man. You're playing with fire. I hope you know that. Did your mom ever tell you not to play with fire?
It's a hot take, but fuck it, bro.
Because like that's what I was just saying is that you risk the fans turning on your champion and booing that man on the Raw after Mania if the hero CM Punk doesn't get his moment. Wow. You went there.
We'll see what it leads up to, bro.
So, why do you think Cody has to retain in Mania? What's your rationale there?
Because he's still too babyface, bro. If Punk is gonna be over, he has to be. One of them gonna have to be more over than the other one at some point, bro. And like I said, it might be a good angle to go, like, oh, Cody gets fucking booed out the title or some shit like that. Not booed out the title, but like he fucking Punk somehow gets a rematch or some shit.
I don't know about that one, Chief. So you're telling me you want to use night 2 of WrestleMania to purposefully bury your champion to get the fans to turn on him?
We'll see, bro.
By not letting Punk go over? You want to try and get your champion heat on night 2 of WrestleMania in the main event?
We'll see, bro.
You don't think a 1 year long title reign is pretty good? It's not like he can't ever win it again.
That's true.
Like I'm at the point where his title reign has been long enough.
So do you think?
I even feel like if he dropped it to KO,
So
it's still a strong title.
Do you think personally, if Punk challenges Cody, Punk has a good chance of winning?
I would let Punk beat God at WrestleMania.
Yo.
Punk is in a special place that Cody was in 1 year ago.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Sometimes the fans just decide we haven't seen you have that moment yet, and it's your time. You deserve it. And the fans are like giving every ounce of energy into everything CM Punk does, in my opinion, to show the office, show creative that we are ready for this moment. God bless him, but he's a bit of an older gentleman at this point in industry years. Just with injuries and everything, who knows how much longer we're going to be blessed with this prime CM Punk that we have. So while we still have the guy, let's give him that WrestleMania moment. And I feel like you're playing, like I said, dude, it's a really risky game to build up that big feud, that big moment against Cody in the main event, and then he doesn't get it done. I think you risk like seriously damaging his reputation with the fans and Cody's reputation with the fans. I feel like people would kind of give up on Punk potentially.
For real? You think they'll give up on Punk?
Just the whole idea of the main event WrestleMania. Like, I don't know if I want to hear you talk about it if you finally got it and you lost. You know? He's been talking about this for over 10 years. Since the pipe bomb, man. You know? And if he finally gets to that spot and doesn't get his moment, I feel like that's really letting the fans down. You know what I mean? And I feel like in Triple H's creative, it's not that type of vibe anymore. Like, he gets, I feel like, for the most part, how to give the fans that big moment that we're waiting for. And so, yeah, I am going to have to respectfully just say that that's a wild take. Like, I'm not trying to say it's impossible, because Cody's huge, and Punk could challenge Cody, and who like that could happen.
Yeah.
I just also think you might start a riot amongst the Punk fans, dude. Like, that shit. Yeah, man. I do think that no matter who CM Punk wrestles,
he needs to win
in Las Vegas. He's gotta win, man.
Damn.
He's gotta win. It's CM Punk, and he's deserved it.
Pepsi filled, bro.
It's time. It's time. You're wild, bro. You're wild.
Takes,
I respect
bro.
that you're putting that spicy shit out there, but that's a wild one. That's a wild one.